Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to Pole Day qualifying for tomorrow afternoon's 11th race of the second season of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series powered by the WRA. As we're getting set for this race weekend to continue, as we are getting ready to see Mohammed Zain on track. As Mohammed Zain, so I'm pulling up his statistics here. Muhammad is trying to make his fourth start on the season in the number 14 machine. He is now the first car on the clock. First time since the Truck Series. We have we have our longer qualifying sessions out of everybody this weekend. As Mohammed Zain, we saw him in the Truck Series event yesterday. We'll see him this afternoon in the Busch race as he sets a 34.16 for the number 14 machine. There's Diego Marquez looking to make his first start of the year. CJ Bracken in the 45, making his second attempt. He'll go back to Molly Watts in the 45 beginning next week at Dover. As Mohammed Zain goes 29.929, second quickest for her. There's Momo Akari, Matthew Hubert on track. Shane Earnhardt trying to make another start this weekend. As Kasumi Takashi has got some problems. Looks like she might be coming to pit road, so something is up with that 27 machine because it didn't sound good for her. Quentin Moore, Cassandra Mills is on pit road. Oh, Mills has had a problem. It's like a tire problem. As we're looking at Courtney Lynn, last week's winner at Texas in the Busch Series. We'll see her this afternoon in the Busch Series, trying to make her, I believe this will be her third start. She's the only driver in the 25 who's made a start this season. As I'm going to actually look here. She is. She's looking to make her third Winston Cup start on the season. 97 is Marty Stevens this week. Phelan Bradley in the 66 this week. Sydney Vortex back in the 92 this week. Next week will be Noah Tutu at Dover, as we're looking at Bora Park in the 26. Jesse Art has failed to qualify for the Busch race you'll see this afternoon. Currently 13th quickest for her. It's not looking very good. Lauren Grievous, we'll see her this afternoon in the Busch Series race. Shyla Ascroft qualified second last week. Helga Gunnarsson attempting to qualify for her debut here in the Winston Cup Series in the number 71 machine. That's Sarah Taylor in front of her. Sarah puts a 32.72. There's Elizabeth Gardner, Alexander Rowe, Matthew Hubert. Mills is back out on the track. Momo Akari. Ben Erickson, 21st quickest. Diego Marquez still looking for some speed, 29.477. Brady Columbus. Samad Oskin, 17th quickest right now. Michael Brown, we'll see him. Don't think Michael Brown qualified for the Busch race, as he's trying to make another start in the Winston Cup Series. Max Anderson, Skylar Davidson, Brenda Eveling, as we've had a wreck, and it's Cassandra Mills. As she is all torn up. This is going to be worth a replay. She's already had trouble. Looks like she got involved in an incident. Got together with Alexander Rowe. almost like what we saw on Thursday, or we saw this yesterday in Busch qualifying. Gets hit by Sydney Vortex. Courtney Lynn got a piece of it. And then Phelan Bradley just rammed Courtney Lynn over, failed to use the brakes. Dina Willis did a good job. Kasumi Takashi did not. There's Dina Willis running in currently 17th quickest. Trying to make his first start on the season. Jesse Art, Jacob Foster in the final transfer spot over Shade Earnhardt. Brendan Rogers, third quickest there. $29.46 for DV. 15th quickest. Of course, I am Sonic the Blue Hedgehog while Dean DeVoyles is out on track. Shyla Askarov. Or, no, that's Azar Mirmo, excuse me. Shyla's right behind Azar. Sarah Taylor. Luna Farmer, we'll see her this afternoon in the Busch race. Carlos Rodriguez. Quentin Moore, we'll see him this afternoon in the Busch race, as a couple of drivers are already gone to backup machines, like Courtney Lynn. Jesse Art now on the bubble. Leo Hill gets in the spot. Same with Luna Farmer. Brendan Rogers trying to make his Winston Cup debut. Matthew Hubert. Matt is trying to make his third Winston Cup start on the season. Chloe Erickson on the outside looking in. 379 for her, trying to pick it up. We'll go to the 78 of Matthew Hubert. There he is. Brenda Ealing, 29.361. That bumps Jesse Art out. That puts Leo Hill on the bubble. There's Leo. Now he's the driver on the bubble. Leo is trying to make his second start on the season, as we're down to 2 minutes left in this qualifying session. That was a good lap for Brenda Ealing, but was it good enough? Farmer trying to make her third Winston Cup start of the year. Hubert's looking for his third. Diego Marquez trying to make his debut along with Brendan Rogers. Sydney Vortex trying to make her second race in a row. Or, correction, trying to make her third race in a row. Farmer is trying to make her third race in a row. Evelyn's trying to make her second start of the year. She only made the race at Pocono. That was a good lap there, I can safely say, for the 24 bunch. Down to the final minute in the session. We will see Brenda Eveling this afternoon in the Busch Series race. Matthew Hubert sitting in the pits thinking, that was a pretty good lap. I think I don't know about coming out on track with about 37 seconds left, but maybe he wants to save some tires for second round qualifying. In the event of a tie for Winston Cup Series for the qualifying session, for drivers, if they're tied on the same time, the tiebreaker in the Cup Series go by points. So Diego Marquez looks like he's safe, and What about, as that is it for qualifying, and I don't think anybody's going to touch a 29:29 that Matthew Hubert put down. That was a very good lap for Hubert. Hold up, the 71 just went quicker. 29:304. That bumps Leo Hill out of the Fast 7. Helga Gunnarsson. That was a beautiful lap for the 71. And with zeros on the clock, that's it. Helga Gunnarsson, the Icelander. Shot clock cheese. And she's going to make her Winston Cup debut tomorrow afternoon. What a lap for the 71 in their first attempt, believe it or not. That's it. Matthew Hubert, Helga Gunnarsson, Diego Marquez, Brendan Rogers, Sydney Vortex, Luna Farmer, and Brenda Eveling on the right side of the stick this time by 1/1000th of a second. Edges out Leo Hill for the final transfer spot. Well done to that team. Unfortunately for Leo Hill, Jesse Art, they will be going home along with Marty Stevens, Brady Columbus, Chloe Erickson, Alexander Rowe, Jacob Foster, Daniel Gitterod, Shade Earnhardt, Max Anderson, CJ Bracken, 2 DNQs in a row for him, Bora Park, Ben Erickson, Cassandra Mills, Elizabeth Gardner, Michael Brown, Dylan Ibrahimian, Shyla Askarov, Daniel Voiles, Kasumi Takashi, Eric Alpha, Carlos Rodriguez, Courtney Lynn, we'll see her this afternoon in the Busch race, Sarah Taylor, Joe Moore, Mohammed Zain, Skylar Davidson, Lauren Grumia, Summit Oskin, Azara Mirmuz, Momo Akari, Phelan Bradley, and Quinton Moore. Those drivers, unfortunately for them, have failed to qualify. But congrats to the 7 drivers that will transfer into tomorrow afternoon's race. We are going to take a commercial break, and on the other side of the break, these 7 drivers will join the other 35 drivers for pole day qualifying, which will continue right after these messages and a word from our World Racing Association studios. This is the World Racing Association's Multimedia Network. Back here at Loudon, New Hampshire, getting ready for second round qualifying for the Cup drivers here as we get ready to see who will start on the pole for tomorrow afternoon's race. Including this weekend, only 3 more races left to go for drivers to lock themselves a spot into the All-Star race. The 11 car has gone out on the track. That is the defending series champion, Ponzo Alvarez. Ponzo Alvarez jumped up 3 spots to 19th in the points after last week's race at Texas, running the FedEx Express colors, the green, white, and purple car this week on his FedEx Chevrolet, FedEx Ground, that is. Pull up the ticker. Annie Thomas already put a lap time on the board, but that's because her pit stall is behind the start-finish line. Same with Betty Johnson. 31:17 for Ponzo Albanese. Nathan Orman, Michael Anderson, Brenda Ely in front of Hannah Blue Jay in the number 48. Hannah Blue Jay had a good run, jumped up 6 spots to 4th in the standings as you look at Nathan Orman, the rookie points leader, jumped up 3 spots to 16th in the points, having a good rookie season, still looking for his first win on his Winston Cup career, running the CarQuest colors, that black and yellow on his Chevrolet. Nathan Orman through 10 races, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 1 pole. He's led a total of 45 laps this season. There's Annie Crenshaw, Jay Green. There's Ponzo Alvarez. I was trying to get to Ponzo. Ponzo Alvarez is Annie. Thomas cracks a 29.538. Ponzo Alvarez, he is the points leader after winning his second race of the season. Well, as soon as I say that, Ponzo Alvarez goes better. But Vanco Seaman, last week's winner at Texas, took the points lead from the gal who is currently third quickest. That's Annie Thomas. Jacob Tutu back in the GM Goodwrench colors this week. Annie Crenshaw running the Flames colors this week on that number deuce. You know something about Annie Crenshaw? She is the defending winner of this race one season ago. She won back-to-back races. This track in Richmond that locked her into the playoffs, got eliminated, I believe, after the round of 12. So she's looking to go back-to-back this week, as I don't have to look it up to see who is the defending winner of this race, because that was pretty simple. As you see, Betty Barrett in the Red Baron colors this week on her BAM Racing Dodge. Jumped up 3 spots to 32nd in the points. Cody Smart, 34th in the points. Kevin Joseph's that critical 35th in the standings. Good news for Kevin. Carlos Rodriguez did not qualify for this race, so that gap between himself and 36 is going to continue to grow no matter what happens. There's Lucy Meyer in the 4. Lucy jumped up 6 spots to 20th in the points table, as the fastest time is getting swapped around, as the track's really taking a lot of rubber down, which is good, giving these cars a lot more grip. As we're looking at Jerry Harvick, dropped 3 spots down to 18th in the points. There's Timmy Turner in the 32 machine, dropped 2 spots to 25th in the points. Timmy Turner, the only owner driver we had in the retired Monster Energy Series. The only driver other than Jacob Tutu, Betty Barrett, that's been racing on my channel since the very beginning of the league of WRA and also the retirement of the PCS race. We're looking at Michael Anderson. Michael comes into this race, the 20 that is. I did make sure to put deodorant on. I took a shower before I started qualifying, so 12th in the points. Jay Green is 23rd in the points. He is 3rd in the Rookie of the Year honors. Lucy Myers is now 2nd in the Rookie of the Year standings, trying to run down Nathan Norman for the Rookie Points League coming into this race. And the fastest is Elena Aurora, 29.220 for the Singular Go Chevrolet. Out of Richard Childress Racing, and she takes out Monica Towns for some reason. That's not a surprise. We've seen that a lot this weekend. And up there goes Horton into the wall, and the wrecking is going on. Oh, big wreck. And some drivers are going to go to backup cars. Annie Thomas goes around. Luna Farmer can't use the brakes. Who was that? Senor Sean got spun around. He got clobbered he clobbered somebody. I don't know who he clobbered. So we're going to look at a replay real quickly. Oh, he clobbers the 92. The good news is Sean wrecked the field in qualifying. The bad news is Sean got involved in his own carnage in qualifying. Well, good thing it was not the racer. That would have been huge implications, if you ask me. I think we're going to see a lot of that tomorrow afternoon. These drivers getting aggressive on this 1 mile, Magic Mile racetrack. Some drivers have already gone to backup machines, but they will keep their starting spots. Ben Tennyson, 13th quickest. Or, not 13th quickest, excuse me, 13th in the points. He's 38th quickest. What the hell am I doing, Boyles? I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed after this session. There's Luke Knight in the 40 machine. Luke is 30th in the points coming into this race. Now he's 29th quickest in that 40. Riley Anderson, 26th quickest in the craft colors on her Ford. Riley now 25th quickest. Riley dropped 6 spots down to 26 on the points. Speaking of the number 26, there's Kevin Joseph in that critical 35th in the points. Needs a good run tomorrow afternoon to get away from 35th. But the good news is he doesn't have to worry about the driver trying to run him down for 35th because that would be Carlos Rodriguez. He failed to qualify. Annie Thomas is actually tied with Vanko Seaman for the points lead. And I find this funny. Annie Thomas, Betty Johnson, the two drivers that swap paint schemes, are right behind each other. That's fitting. For anyone new about where this Audi came from, this is actually one of the Utica Home Track Series cars I downloaded. Of course, the 81 you saw in Go qualifying with yours truly. Yes, I'm back in the booth after Sonic the Blue Hedgehog had to cover first round of qualifying. As Betty Johnson, the 43, she is 7th in the points table. Annie Thomas is the only Australian has won 2 NR titles. The 2014 Utica Home Track Series, the next season, won the Monster Energy Championship. And there's the last ever Monster Energy champion. Talking about champions. Annie Thomas, the 2015 champion. This is the defending champion. The last ever PCSRA champion. Jacob Tutu, the Hall of Famer. Jacob Tutu has won more championships than Hergel Arvin Alonso. Let's go with that. All jokes aside, Jacob Tutu, currently 9th in the points. Jacob Tutu will forever go down in the history books as the driver who pulled off the biggest upset ever for the closest he will get to a home race, because remember, Loudon is closer to Canada. And this would be Jacob Tutu's, well, not his home race, his home Providence. His home Providence, of course, he's from Montreal, will be going to Ricky Raceway for his homecoming, along with Hannah Blue Jay and Betty Barrett. But Jacob Tutu will forever on this channel go down as one of the biggest fairy tale stories of winning a championship in PCSRA competition. He'll forever be the last ever champion on this channel in PCSRA. Hoping he can add a Winston Cup title to his list, as we're looking at Tatum right here in the 0. Tatum dropped 6 spots down to 15th on the points. She's been inside the top 20 for all of this season. The problem for Tatum, she's yet to find victory lane. And her sister jumped up to 24th in the points, Ashlyn Wright. So I've been really impressed, in particular, Ashlyn Wright. Yeah, she's only had the one D&Q, but she's reminding me of Greg Biffle back in 2003 in the Winston Cup Series, where Biffle failed to qualify, Las Vegas, because they went by last season's points. He still won Rookie of the Year title despite missing a race. Here you look at Ashlyn Wright this season, missed a race because she was inside the top 35, but we went by last season's points. And she's already 24th in points. So That goes to show you Tatum or Ashlyn Wright has a future here in the Cup Series. More than likely, she might be staying up here in the Cup Series next season. Wouldn't that be a good storybook ending for the 00? As we're looking at Brad Lewis, Jay Green, by the way, second quickest. As we're down to 2 minutes left to go in the session, Brad Lewis 22nd in the points. Won at Texas last season, so he's already gone over not even a full season without going to victory lane. Elena Aurora, but he will be in the All-Star race, though, as Elena Aurora 29.220. I don't know if anybody's going to beat that. As you see Drake Robertson in front of her, he's 33rd in the points. Drake's had a rough season so far. Samantha Granger in the 07. Samantha Granger comes into this race 10th in points. Sydney Vortex, Maddie Crenshaw, third in the standings coming into this race. Diego Marquez. This is the 9th race for the 42. First with Diego Marquez, because remember, Annie Thomas took all the points with her, which started at Pocono, and she's still up inside the top 10 of the points. So Diego looking to have a good run tomorrow afternoon. There's Todd Montgomery. 17th in the points. Luna Farmer start qualifying third. Good qualifying for the 60 machine. As the 8 car just got up into the wall there. That's Margaret Jacobs. Margaret 5th in the points, still looking for her first win of the year. And with about 25 seconds left to go in the session, I don't think anybody's going to beat a 29.220 set by Elena Aurora. And this would be her first pole of the season. And the first pole of the year for Richard Childress Racing. They have yet to get a pole this season. They're going to get one here today with Elena Aurora starting on the pole position for tomorrow afternoon's race. Zeros are now on the clock. Some of these drivers are going to go use the restroom, have a good lunch, have a good lobster lunch before we go bush racing this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's Liliana Beta. We'll talk about the rest of the drivers as far as the points are concerned tomorrow afternoon. As we're going to wait for the time to go to 0. I'll clear that out of the way. So it looks like Elena Aurora, first pole of the season for RCR. So Elena Aurora will be in the Clash next season, as that is it for the session, as I'm going to go ahead and clear that out of the way. So it'll be Elena Aurora, Jay Green on the front row. Great qualifying for Luna Farmer. Out-qualified her veteran group from World NOS Racing, which is Betty Johnson, Annie Thomas. Fair play to the young rookie. I've been really impressed for Luna Farmer. And, of course, she'll be racing this afternoon in the Busch Series race. So really proud of herself. Now she's going to go ahead, head over to the restroom, go use the bathroom before we get ready to go racing here this afternoon for the Busch race. Betty Johnson, Annie Thomas, second in points, or the co-points leader. She is second in points, but she is ahead of the guy she was tied with for the points lead, which Ponzo Albanese, Vinko Seaman, looks like he's going to be starting deep in the field. Ashley Reynolds, or Ponzo Albanese, speaking of Ponzo, Ashlyn Wright, we'll see her this afternoon in the Busch race. Cody Smart, Betty Barrett, that is your top 10 here today. Senor Sean going to start 18th. Of course, he is already beating Jesse Art, even though Jesse Art's not running for Cup points, FYI. Looking through the rest of the starting lineup. Sydney Vortex, 29th. Not a good debut. Helga Gunnarsson in her Winston Cup debut tomorrow afternoon will start 30th. Brendan Rogers, his first Winston Cup race, will start 31st. So Not a good qualifying for him. Vanko Seaman all the way back in 38th. Ugh. That's not good. Hopefully he's got a long run car tomorrow afternoon. Brenda Eveling, not a good qualifying. Good news is she'll be in the Busch race, so hopefully they can make some adjustments on after the Busch race today to find out what they can do for long run speed tomorrow afternoon. And at the back of the grid, we have an RCR car leading the field of green. We are going to have an RCR car starting last. That is Samantha Granger with Margaret Jacobs. A couple of drivers inside the top 10 of the points that are running very well in the standings. Third in points, Maddie Crenshaw deep in the field in 34th place. But this is a track you can try to make some passes. Pitch strategy is going to be a factor. Nathan Orman, by the way, 26. Not a good qualifying for him. But as I said, track position going to be a key factor. Pitch strategy always a factor here because it's going to be a long race. So for any of these drivers that didn't qualify that well, don't worry. Got a long race ahead of you tomorrow afternoon. That's what matters the most, if you ask me. Hope you guys enjoyed this qualifying session. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We've shown your starting lineup for tomorrow afternoon's race. They will go green at 1. We'll see you this afternoon for the Busch race at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then tomorrow will be the Cup race to cap off our Loudon weekend. But until we see you whenever it's this afternoon or tomorrow, I'm Dean Voles, a.k.a. Sonic the Blue Hedgehog. You've been watching another broadcast of the World Racing Association's Multimedia Network. Goodbye for now from Loudon.